Hello, I'm Von Meter. One of the young ladies you're about to meet plays the part of my wife on an album called The First Family.
What is your name, please?
My name is Naomi Brussard.
My name is Naomi Brussard.
My name is Naomi Brussard.
Only one of these young ladies is the real Naomi Brussard. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Theodore Bikel, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Salem Cigarettes. Good evening, panel.
Hi.
Good evening, Bud.
I'd like to take this moment to welcome officially and very warmly, for the first time to Tell the Truth, Theodore Bikel, consummate actor, singer, recording artist, and Theo, it's a joy to have you with us.
Thank you very much. For a notorious liar to be on this program, it's great.
Will you kindly open up your envelopes, take out your first affidavit card for the first time, and follow along with me. I, Naomi Brussard, am a comedienne, a former Copa girl, and part-time model. Until recently, I was a receptionist in a girdle showroom. Last October, in competition with 40 other actresses, I won an audition for an important part in a comedy record album. The album has become the best-selling LP of all time. I am the voice of the First Lady in the album called The First Family. Signed, Naomi Brussard. And so, panel, we start things off this evening with these three young ladies, all claiming to be the same one, namely Naomi Brussard, the voice of the First Lady on the First Family album. And we'll start this questioning with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Number one, who produced the record?
Earl Dowd and Bob Booker.
Number two, they wrote it, but who produced it?
They produced it.
Thank you. Number three, what record company is the name of the record company? The
Cadence Records.
Number one, who's the head of Cadence Records?
Archie Blyer.
Thank you. Number two, did you get paid a flat fee? Or you own a percentage of the record, I hope?
Unfortunately, I was hungry and I took a flat fee.
Oh. Well, that's it. Oh, number three, when President Kennedy was asked about this record, what did he say?
He thought it was great fun, and he's ordered 100 copies.
Thank you.
Theo.
100 copies. Right. What is the, number two, what is the payment at the Copa?
$100 a week.
Did you, number three, did you pose for the album cover?
Along with the others, of course.
Yes. Number one, where was the album cover taken?
The back of it was superimposed. The White House was superimposed, and the rest was taken on Central Park.
Right. Number one, what union do you have to belong to make such a record?
After?
You're paid up, I suppose. All right. How stiff, number two, how stiff was the competition?
There were 40 girls. I had to try out with 40 girls.
Kitty.
Number one, had you ever done any impersonations or imitations before?
All my life.
Number two, did you do them when you were a receptionist in the girdle showroom?
Oh, sure. I used to imitate everybody there.
They must have loved that.
What's there to imitate?
Number three, when you were at the Copa, did you know somebody called Paul Shelley?
No, I didn't.
Number one, did you?
No, I didn't.
Number two, who was the head of the Copa when you were there?
Julie Prodell.
Number three, was Julie Podell the head when you were there?
Yes?
Number one, how many... Oh.
Tom.
Thank you. We found out who produced it and who wrote it. Number three, what does Earl Dowd look like?
Earl, forgive me. He's kind of chubby, and he's got a beard that's redder than his own hair.
Number two, do you know where Earl lives?
Well, he's always moving around, so now I've got that quite sure.
Thank you. Number one, where was Von Meter working when you cut the album?
At Phase 2 in the Village.
At Phase 2. Number three, what are his plans regarding the Blue Angel? Do you know? Number three?
Well, he just finished at the Angel, and we're going on tour.
That's all we have time for, I'm sorry to say. Some fascinating facts might still be brought out, and maybe later, after the show, we can get together and chat. But right now, it's time for you to mark your ballots. So will you kindly do so, panel? Mark them immediately and without change, and of course, without consultation, as you vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. And our team of challengers will, of course, receive the customary $250 for every incorrect vote indulged in by our panelists. All ballots marked? Ooh, and eager, too. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I voted for number 3. I thought there was a certain forthrightness and frankness about the answers. I must say that the ladies certainly seemed to know what they were doing. Either they're all 3 working on that record, or they've been very well studied.
Peggy, your choice.
Well, I voted for number 2 because I saw Jackie Kennedy do that White House tour, and she sort of talks to me and she says, well, and the voice is the same.
Theo, your choice.
Well, I voted for number 1 because, first of all, she knew about phase 2, and that's in the village, that's where I live, and secondly, she has Jackie Kennedy's sibilant S's. That's good.
Kitty.
So do you.
I voted for number 3 for the very same reasons you all gave. I thought they were marvelously well-informed, and I thought I could detect a tiny bit of Mrs. Kennedy's enchanting, soft voice in number 3.
Very well, there we have it. The die is cast, and we have now the moment of truth as we learn which one of these young ladies actually is the voice of the First Lady in the album of the First Family. And here to pick out his own First Lady is the head of the First Family, Vaughn Meader. Sir, would you do us the honor of selecting your own First Lady?
Yes, I certainly would. Now, I would like to commend number 3. She certainly did answer the questions with vigor. However, I think that number 2, I doubt if you were the real one. You're probably a Republican. Did you find this a fascinating experience?
Yes, and I decided to leave the panel just the way they were originally. Incidentally, Bud Collier was a gift from CBS.
Oh, boy. Well, Vaughn and Naomi, thank you very much for gracing our show tonight. I understand you're about to embark on a national tour.
Yes, well, we have just recently started, and tomorrow we'll be in Philadelphia, and then the Academy of Music there will be traveling all over the country and wind up in Las Vegas about 4 months on the road. So.
Now, how will you accomplish this transformation of changing from a record album to a stage presentation?
Well, we think it's a new concept. The director, Mickey Ross, has presented a new concept, I think, in comedy concert. I think is new and as interesting as the album itself. I hope it is to most people.
Well, we certainly wish you well. I hope it's the brightest year that you've had thus far. You've earned it, believe me. It's been a joy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Great job. Now let's find out about these 2 other lovely young ladies. Number 2, you got one of the votes. What is your real name and what do you really do?
I'm Sandy Barkin, and I'm a fashion coordinator.
And number 3, you got the lion's share of the votes. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Harriet Perlow, and I'm a wig maker.
Well, we thank you and hope we gave you just one half the fun of being here as we had in your presence here. Checking up with the score should make you happy because you fooled them pretty much down the line. There were 1, 2, 3 incorrect at $250 each for a total of $750 from Salem Cigarettes, as well as a carton of Salem's on the way out. Thank you again for being our guests. Goodbye and God bless you. The next time you grow winter weary, try this gentle reminder of spring pressure. May I present our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Joe Kittinger. My name is Joe Kittinger.
My name is Joe Kittinger.
Panel, you've had a look. Now let's have a listen as you take out your next affidavit card and follow along with me. I, Joe Kittinger, am a captain in the United States Air Force. I am a pilot, a high-altitude balloonist, and a test parachute jumper. In 1960, I jumped from an altitude of more than 100,000 feet. I dropped for 4 minutes and 37 seconds, a total of 6.5 miles, before opening my parachute. In doing so, I established 2 records which are still unbroken: the highest parachute jump in history and the longest free fall. My most recent high-altitude experiment was a balloon ascension for Project Stargazer. Astronomer William C. White and I shared the unique experience of studying the stars without the normal interference caused by the Earth's atmosphere. Signed, Joe Kittinger. Panel, these 3 gentlemen all claim to be Captain Joe Kittinger, balloonist, parachutist. And we'll start this questioning with Tom Poston. Tom?
Well, thank you, Bud. Number 2, what did you wear when you made the free fall, the long free fall?
Wore an Air Force pressure suit.
And thank you. Number 3, how did you breathe?
I had an oxygen tube attached to the risers on my chute.
And where did the oxygen come from?
It came from the tube. It came from the cylinder through a tube into my mouth.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Number 1, how far up can you go without being in trouble without oxygen?
Without oxygen?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on who you are, but anywhere from 10 to 20,000 feet.
Up as high as 20,000, eh? Thank you. Number 2, what did you look at the stars through? If I may end the subject in a sentence in a preposition.
Peggy Cass.
They also ended the subject for you.
They looked at
Number
the stars
3.
through Peggy Cass.
Number 3, did you pack your own chute?
No, I did not.
Number 2, did you let somebody else pack your chute?
Oh, yes.
Number 1, I would have packed my own chute. Number 2, is your chute made out of nylon?
Yes, the canopy is.
I see. Number 3, how come William C. White doesn't have any interference? Does he jump out too?
I don't understand the question.
Well, it says William C. White, the astronomer, has this experience of studying the stars without the normal interference. Who's William C. White?
William C. White, man, was an astronomer. I was along on the flight as the balloon pilot.
Oh, number 2, William C. White goes up in a balloon. I don't understand.
It's all very confusing.
Astronomer.
Very confusing.
Theo.
Number 2, you wore a suit, right?
Yes.
Did you wear anything else? Does the suit cover the head as well?
The helmet covers the head.
There is a helmet. Is there a steady compression in the helmet?
Above 40,000 feet, there is a steady pressure in the helmet.
Number 1, when you had that rapid fall, did you experience a rapid compression?
No.
May I ask why not?
Because during you are under compression in the suit, and the pressure outside doesn't have any effect on it.
Doesn't have any effect.
Controlled automatically.
You test
Kitty.
parachutes. What
Number
do you do
one-
when they don't open?
I'm sorry.
Number 1, who was the first balloonist in history?
I don't know.
Do you know number 2?
The Montgolfier brothers were the discoverers of balloon 1783.
Thank you. Number 3, can you tell me what happens at Mount Palomar that has anything to do with what you do?
Well, there is a large observatory and a very large telescope at Mount Palomar.
Thank you. Number 2, can you tell me in a small sentence, I know it's difficult, of anything that you learned that was specifically unusual about seeing the stars at this altitude?
We demonstrated it could be done safely, economically, and quickly.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have. So, panel, safely, economically, and quickly, mark your ballots. Mark them at once, and without change, if you will, please. And also without any consultation whatsoever, as you vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All set, everyone? Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I voted for number 2. He didn't seem to have Jackie Kennedy's sibilant S, and I think... No, I like the way his answers came out. He had a certain command of Army-type language or Air Force-type language, which was indicated that he was the one to me.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 3. Number 1, I have a feeling you would be compressed and going down. I'd feel compressed or oppressed. And number 3 knew where the observatories were, and what better for a boy that takes astronomers up in the balloon. I mean, I don't know. He looks like a kid could do it.
You voted for 3, didn't you?
Yes, number 3, he could do it.
Theo, your vote.
Right, you just loaded number 2. Well, I wanted to vote for number 2 because I know that safely and quickly is a motto of the Air Force, but economically has never entered into any of their deliberations. So I voted for number 3. That's why.
And Kitty, what is your choice?
I voted for number 2, well, because of the Montgolfier brothers, but also number 3 winked at me. I have to tell the And the real one always tries to keep a terribly, terribly serious expression to pretend he's not there at all. So I voted for number 2.
I voted for 3 because he winked at me.
Well, let me have it 2 and 2. 2 for 2, 2 for 3. Let's find out now whether this split-up vote means anything or not, and how right or wrong we may be with our reasons as we learn which one of these 3 gentlemen is the real balloonist parachutist. Will the real Captain Joe Kittinger please stand up? Incidentally, Captain Kittinger... They
are economical.
Incidentally, Captain Kittinger has written a fascinating book about his parachute jump, and it's called The Long, Lonely Leap. Interesting title, too. Number 1, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Richard Beringer, and I'm an architect.
And number 3, what is your real name, sir, and what do you do?
My name is Ed Mulfeld, and I'm the advertising director of Popular Boating Magazine.
Well, in checking the score was a 2 for 2, and that means 2 incorrect, 2 correct. And the 2 incorrect are the ones that interest you most because they are 2 at $250 each for a total of $500 for you gentlemen to divide among you, and may it bring you nothing but happiness. Thank you very much for being with us, and our thanks also from the makers of Salem cigarettes, who have for you a carton of Salem's on your way out in addition to the money you won. Good night, and God bless you. Right about here, you're scheduled for a refreshing journey into spring. May I present our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Richard McKenna.
My name is Richard McKenna.
My name is Richard McKenna.
Again, panel, will you follow along with your copies of this affidavit? I, Richard McKenna, served 22 years as an enlisted man with the United States Navy. I served in China, Korea, and the Far East. At the age of 40, I retired from the Navy and entered the University of North Carolina. I graduated with a Phi Beta Kappa key and a straight A average. After graduation, I started work on a novel. The book, published January 2nd, is called The Sand Pebbles. Even before publication, it was chosen as the Harper Prize Novel of the Year and as a Book of the Month Club selection. The Sand Pebbles has already been sold to motion pictures for more than $100,000. Signed, Richard McKenna. Very well, panel. I think you'll agree. 3 gentlemen with a very interesting story, and they all claim, of course, to be the liver of that story, namely Richard McKenna, new novelist. And let's start this round with Theo.
Number 2, when you entered the university, you'd just been discharged, or retired, rather, from the Navy? What
That is
rank?
right.
With what rank?
As a chief yeoman.
Chief yeoman. Did you have to go to any college? Did you have to acquire any college, any degree before entering the university?
No, I entered as an entering student.
Number 1, where is Dilan? D-I-L-A-A-N.
I don't know.
Number 3, you know?
Will you spell that again?
D-I-L-A-A-N.
Never heard of it.
Kitty.
Number one, who did you sell your book to? What company?
Harper Row.
Harper Row?
Harper Row.
No, I mean the motion picture company.
Oh, that's the Mirish Brothers.
Number two, what are the names of the Mirish brothers?
I don't know the Mirish brothers.
You don't know them?
No.
You just sold it.
That's right.
Number three, do you know who Herb Mays is?
I've heard the name. I think he's a columnist or something, but no more than that.
Number one, how long were you at the university?
3 years.
What does Phi Beta Kappa mean?
That's that's the Scholastic Award for one who
I know what the award is, but what does it actually mean?
Tom,
Phi
I can't
Beta
take
Kappa.
any more time. I'm sorry. Tom?
Number two, what are galleys?
Galleys are long pages of proof.
Thank you. What do you do to galleys, number three? Could you tell us?
Well, you read through them for errors and incorrect printing and so forth, correct them.
What's that called, number three?
Well, reading proof.
Thank you. Number one, then what do you do with those galleys? What happens to them after they're proofread?
After they're proofread, they go back to the author.
Well, after he gets through with them. Then what happens to the galley eventually? Why is it ever made up, is what I mean.
Well, this is to prevent excessive expense in correcting errors in typing, in the printing of the book.
Number two,
Peggy.
number two, there's another kind of a galley. What do you do there?
Well, a galley is a ship.
And number three, what do you do in the galley of the ship?
Well, you cook food and...
Thank you. Number one, what is a Mustang?
A Mustang is an enlisted man who achieves officer rank.
Thank you. There's a certain rate in the Navy that's known as the missing link, number two, who's known as the missing link. What is that?
Missing link. I'm not familiar with the missing
Number
link.
one, do you know?
I'm not sure. It may be Commodore.
Number three, do you know?
That's all the time we have, I'm sorry to say. So have no missing links as you mark your ballots, and do so now, please, immediately and without change. And, of course, no consultation as you vote for number one, number two, or number three. All ballots marked. All right, Tom, which one do you think is the real one this time?
I voted for number one. He looks like he might have that kind of pluck. How's that? To enter a university after he's finished a tour of duty, or at least several tours of duty. I see 22 years. He just has that air about him, and I think it's great.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number three because he looks sort of young to me, and I feel that it was a boy who must have joined the Navy before he got out of high school and really had a brain, and when he got out, went to college and still remains like... He looks as though he wrote that book to me, that's all.
Theo.
Well, I didn't vote for three because he has glasses. I didn't vote for two because he thought galley is a ship, and I voted for number one because the land is no such place.
Kitty, your vote.
I voted for number one for two very specific reasons. One was that he smiled when Bud said the book had been sold for $100,000. And two, he has the eyes of a man who's been in the Navy for a long, long time, that kind of blue, faraway look.
All right, let's see how right or wrong we are as we break this all down now into the truth itself and learn which one of these gentlemen actually is the novelist. So will the real Richard McKenna please stand up? Thank you, sir, and much success. Much continued success, I should say. Number one, you got the most of the votes here. What is your real name, and what do you really do?
Well, my name is Ted Keegan, and I'm a district manager for Shell Chemical Company.
And number two, may we have your real name, sir, and what you do?
My name is Jack Rogers, and I'm a member of the House of Representatives of the state of Washington.
Well, we thank all of you for giving us such a pleasant evening. And pleasant to you, of course, is the news that you came very close to fooling the panel all the way. And three incorrect votes at $250 each. That's $750 easily divided and may bring you great joy. That, of course, is from Salem Cigarettes as well as a carton of Salem's on your way out. And we thank you. Goodbye and God bless you. Well, it's been fun, and Theo, I hope you enjoyed it as much as you seem to.
Oh, it's great. Listen, let's lie some more.
Everybody seemed to have a good time tonight, and that gave everybody else a good time, including me, and for that I thank you. Good night to you, panel.
Good
Good night, Bud.
And good night to all of you. And don't forget to join us the same time next week. I'll see you tomorrow, of course, on our afternoon daytime show. And until then, may I remind you once again, please, to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Tell the Truth has been brought to you by Salem, the cigarette that refreshes your taste. Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.